Some video game franchises just keep going and going and going. But other series, beloved though they may be, just disappear, leaving a gaping hole in our gaming hearts. These are the 10 franchises we think are most deserving of a return. Some have only been missing for a few years, while others have left us hanging for much, much longer. Warcraft, as in the real-time strategy series Warcraft. Before it was an MMO, Warcraft was an incredible RTS series. The original arrived in 1994, but it was the sequel, Warcraft 2: Tides of Darkness, that established Blizzard as a top-tier PC game developer. The third game, Reign of Chaos, was released in 2002 and would be the last in the series before Blizzard turned it into an MMO. Since the StarCraft brand is alive and well today, we don't see why Warcraft can't return to its RTS roots. Chrono, as in Trigger and Cross. Originally released in 1995, Chrono Trigger is still considered one of the greatest video games ever made. It boasted a captivating story with multiple endings and a terrific soundtrack. A spin-off called Radical Dreamers was released in Japan, then we all got the proper sequel Chrono Cross in 1999. The series has been dormant ever since. Here's hoping they eventually pull the trigger on a third game in the series. Jedi Knight was a series of beloved first and third-person shooters set in the Star Wars universe, developed by LucasArts and later by Raven Software. For almost a decade, the games thrilled Star Wars and shooter fans alike. With Star Wars' resurgence in popularity today, but a lack of story-driven Star Wars games, now seems like a great time for a return of the Jedi Knight. While our relationship with Advance Wars here in the West began in 2001 on the Game Boy Advance, the series actually goes back to the 1980s in Japan. Nintendo's excellent turn-based strategy games enjoyed a 20-year run until 2008's Advance Wars Days of Ruin on the DS. Then the Advance retreated. Since Fire Emblem has enjoyed so much success in recent years, we see no reason Nintendo shouldn't bring back its awesome military-themed tactics game. This one is especially painful, since we came so close to a new entry in the series with the since-cancelled Silent Hills. 7 mainline games and several spin-offs were released between 1999 and 2012 and are collectively considered one of the best survival horror experiences ever created, especially the first 3 games. In 2014, the incredible-sounding Silent Hills was revealed, with Hideo Kojima and director Guillermo del Toro behind the wheel and actor Norman Reedus starring. Not even a year later, Konami silenced the project. Silent Hill deserves better. Megaman is pretty much the perfect video game formula. Give us a bunch of robot masters, let us tackle them in any order we like, steal their powers, and use them to take down Dr. Wily. We'd be happy to do that all over again every couple years, but the Blue Bomber's last adventure was Mega Man 10 in 2010. Surely, there are still some nouns left Capcom can attach the word man to for Mega Man 11. Driving cars is fun, but crashing them is way more fun. That's why such a huge hole has been left in our gaming hearts since Burnout disappeared after Burnout Paradise in 2008. There was the top-down spin-off Burnout Crash in 2011, but it just wasn't the same as those glorious full games, especially Burnout 3 and Revenge. We definitely didn't burn out on this series, so its recall seems premature. There hasn't been a proper 2D Metroid since Zero Mission in 2004. The last Metroid Prime was in 2007. We don't want Other M, we don't want Federation Force, we want a real classic Metroid game. The formula is alive and well with games like Shadow Complex, Guacamelee, Axiom Verge, and more, but Nintendo shouldn't let these other guys beat them at their own game. There's nothing like the atmosphere, music, and sense of exploration in a Metroid game, and we think it's high time Samus Aran was brought out of retirement. Red Dead Redemption is long overdue for a sequel, and we're pretty sure this one is coming sooner or later. The original Red Dead Revolver was a good game in 2004 and the rare Western, but it's the sequel, Red Dead Redemption, that is often considered one of the greatest games ever made. 6 years and 14 million copies sold later, we're still waiting for an official announcement of the next Red Dead. And number 1 is, of course, HalfLife. This has to be the most baffling, frustrating missing franchise ever. The original Half-Life was an instant classic in 1998, and developer Valve took 6 years to make the nearly perfect sequel. In order to cut down on the wait time for the next chapter, Valve went episodic with what would have been Half-Life 3. Episode 1 was released in 2006, and then Episode 2 left us with one of gaming's most severe cliffhangers in 2007. And then, nothing. Nothing for 9 years now. No release window for Episode 3 or Half-Life 3, no updates on development, no previews. One of the most esteemed and influential franchises in the history of video games just pieced out right in the middle of its third act, leaving us hanging for years and years. There are, of course, loads of other franchises we wouldn't mind playing again. Let us know what you'd like to see return in the comments, and as soon as any of these series are resurrected, we'll let you know right here at IGN.